and welcome to another episode of the Marco Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. So, today I am sitting here with my favorite Hufflepuff, Maria Grove. And if you all don't remember, I had Maria on my entrepreneurial episode a couple of weeks ago. So, just a quick refresher for you all, Maria is a certified professional home organizer who is not into Pinterest worthy closets. Her mantra is real people live here, and she organizes for them. She is a wife, mom, and certified EMT. So, everyone, let's welcome back Maria.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, doing great. Thanks for having me again.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for being here again. I really appreciate it. And I'm so excited because today we're talking about organizing, which, as we have both discovered, are our favorite things. And so, if you all happen to not catch the last episode where Maria was on here, we talked about entrepreneurship. We have decided that we are the same person, pretty much. We both love organizing. We both love Harry Potter. We both started podcasts and blogs with the intent to monetize them, and neither one of us are monetizing them, but we just love doing them so much, so we keep doing them. So, yes, we have connected. So, is there anything that you'd like to say before we get started?
No, I'm just really excited. We've also determined that we both love starting good habits. And you were a guest on my podcast, which will be coming out. So it's just you laid down some amazing knowledge about a time audit, which I was really impressed by. Not something that I teach my clients to do, and I'm going to start doing that. So that is
Cool.
really cool. So I just organizing good habits, like habits around the home, just geeking out about how to make the home a stress less place.
Okay. I love it. Well, let's get into it. So, for those who don't know, can you explain to everyone what a professional organizer is and how did you get started being one?
So when I was young, my mother and my brother and I lived in a very small condo, and my job was organization, from making sure all the Tupperware had the right lids to making sure the coats fit in the coat closet. I just had spatial awareness. And so my mother capitalized on that and said, Maria, you're responsible for making sure things fit in the tiny compartments that we lived in. And so I just have always been really good at that. When I moved to college, I took a Ford Escort full of stuff, and that was it. I took, one like suitcase, I think,
You
really.
took one Ford Escort to college?
Yes, I did.
I had 3 cars filled with stuff. Where were you where were you when I went to college? My
No,
parents
and I brought books, I brought clothes, but I packed them really well.
my
And
parents probably
so
would have thanked you for helping me to get that down.
and it's so funny. I actually just brought my eldest to college, and we brought 2 cars full of stuff. But in their defense, they had a single, so they needed more things in their room. So it just in their defense.
In their defense, I love it.
But I have always helped friends pack for moves. It's kind of my thing. People know to call me. It was just kind of a joke, like, oh, I love helping people move. And so after doing that for a while, people started saying, oh, Maria, you should really start a business doing this. And it started becoming like an idea, and then it started germinating, and then I launched my business. And so what a professional organizer does is make your life better. And that's not an overstatement. If you work with a professional organizer, you can get dressed quicker. You can make dinner faster. You can find your keys and go to work faster. It's about making your space work for you. So what I do is I organize pretty much anything in your home. I can help you declutter and make it easier for you. But what part of my process is I also come up with steps that make it easier for you in your home. So a client will say to me, Maria, my problem is that the kids are always late for the school bus. So I'm not just putting hooks to make sure that the backpacks are easily found. I'm also organizing the shoes so that the kids can get their shoes in time. And then I'm also organizing the kids' clothes so that the kids can get dressed by themselves. And then I'm organizing a food station so that everybody can make their food and lunches together. So it's a step by step process, and I break it down and anticipate all the different steps of your problem.
Okay, so you kind of think about the things that people don't think about. Like a lot of times we're so focused on getting from A to Z that we don't figure out how we're actually going to get there. And so you're breaking it down into simpler terms to be like, in order to get this accomplished, you need to first make sure that this is accomplished.
Right, exactly,
Okay.
exactly. And it's yes, it's about folding things in a certain way, and it's about hangers hanging in a certain way and things like that. But really, at the end of the day, it's about having less stuff.
Right.
Um, decluttering is one of my major steps, and you just have to have less stuff. We all have too much stuff. And if
Yeah.
you can declutter the stuff that's not serving you anymore, and you can get rid of that noise, I like to say the point of decluttering is so that you can find the good stuff. So
Hmm.
imagine if you have a cluttered living room and you have candlesticks and pictures and knickknacks and all sorts of stuff on your mantle, and you can't even see your wedding picture anymore. If you take all that stuff off your mantle and declutter your mantle, and then you put your wedding picture back on your mantle, imagine what joy that brings to you if you're happily married.
Right.
I mean,
Might be covering up for a reason.
I don't know. I'm not a therapist. But, it's just remembering what's important. Like, the thing that you got on your honeymoon, the little item that you picked up on your honeymoon, or the photo of your child that you took when he took his first riding lesson, or something. There's clutter, and you become blind to the good stuff in your home.
Okay. That makes sense. And I kind of relate that to, like, it makes me think about my son's playroom. So my son's playroom, I've said this before on my podcast, is the one room in the house that I do not touch. I do not organize it. I just let him do whatever. I tried to organize it when
If they're asking for a specific toy that you've put away, absolutely bring that toy back. You PJ Mask is what is he's looking for. You're not the mean parent. He
right.
doesn't have to wait a month to get the PJ Mask toy back. But having fewer toys makes a child actually more creative and focused. Then you also have fewer toys to pick up and not worry about.
Right.
But and having a constant rotation, they actually then get to learn that, oh, the end of the month is when the new toys come in, and then suddenly those old toys are new again.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. So that makes a lot of sense. If I ever decide to set foot in there again, I will I will definitely think about that and take that into advice. But usually I just walk by and I close the door. Like, but he'll know if you get rid of something. Like if you get like if we're cleaning up and you get rid of something, it may take him like a couple weeks, but he'll be like, hey, see, such and such and such and such. And it's like, I don't know, I guess it must have got lost, or I guess you must have accidentally put it away or something like that. So why do you think that it's hard for people to get organized?
I think that people are resistant for many reasons. And the most common one that I find is, again, I'm not a therapist, but a lot of people come into their lives with a scarcity mindset. They have grown up without a lot. Their parents didn't have a lot. They were raised probably a little without a lot. Maybe they felt like they were poor, and then they started accumulating things as an adult, and then they just couldn't let the stuff go. And so now they have plenty of money and they have plenty of stuff, but in their mind, they still have that scarcity mindset. I have a client who emigrated from Eastern Europe, and they came with clothes on their back, and she was raised very sparsely and now lives in a stuffed apartment and is trying to declutter some of the things in her apartment. But the problem is that she still thinks that she needs all of this stuff because she's going to need it someday, or
Right.
she's going to have to move, or she's going to have to use this thing. So she has this deeply embedded scarcity mindset. And then there's a lot of I might need it someday
That's me.
idea. And then there's the also, I paid good money for it. That happens a lot with clothing. Really, I struggle with my weight. I have gone up and down in my weight. And so some of my clothes don't fit me. And I'm happy to get rid of the clothes that don't fit me because I don't want clothes staring me down in the closet that make me feel bad.
Right.
But there are other people who go up and down with their weight, who have clothes that don't fit them in their closet, and those bad feelings stay there because they say, but I paid money for that and I might lose the weight someday, even though they haven't lost the weight in a year, and it's probably not going to happen, not the way they think it's going to happen.
Right.
And so but they paid money for it, and they're not about to let it go. They don't see it as an option to donate it, and they don't want to get around to selling it because it's not valuable to anybody except them.
Right.
So yeah, so there's a lot of mindset that has to do with clutter and getting rid of items, and people really have a resistance to it.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Because even with me, there are some things that like I have a resistance of getting rid of. And like my husband's like, can you please just get rid of this? I remember like when we moved in together, I had all these boxes of stuff. And he's like, please just get rid of it. Like, why do you still hold on to it? And even I still have my wedding dress. I mean, I got it preserved. We have been married next month. October will be 11 years that we've been married. And I got the dress preserved. It is in a box inside of a box. So like they put it in one box and it's like, if you pull it out, you can see the front part of it and it's displayed. And then it's inside of another like cardboard box that they shipped it back to me in. I've not pulled this dress out in almost 11 years. It is now tucked away in the closet where we keep our suitcases. And every time I go in there to straighten up, I'm just like, this dress is in here. I really should do something with it and get rid of it. But I'm like, I don't want to. And then I thought about repurposing it. I went online on Pinterest and I found like ideas for repurposing it. And then I just never got around to it. Then I was like, well, if I actually do get it repurposed, am I going to wear it anywhere? Because I mean, when you think about a wedding dress material, that's not really material that you're just going to wear every day or anything like that. And I'm like, well, I don't know, like 8 or 9 years or something like that, I think. And finally one day, she was like, hey, I know somebody who needs a dress for the debutante ball. She's like, can we finally part with your dress? And I was like, you still got that thing? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, I guess so. So yeah, I understand that it can be hard sometimes to part with stuff.
There's a lot to unpack there because first of all, debutante ball, I that's fabulous.
Thank you.
But Angel, I've been married almost 20 years. It'll be 20 years this October. I still have my wedding dress in a box.
Okay.
It's preserved. I have it. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. And I'm absolutely someone who gets rid of things.
Okay.
But I have the room. It's not impeding my life in any way.
Right.
It's okay to hold on to things that are special to you. I am not here to rid your house of memories. I would love to get a dress form someday and display my wedding dress in my bedroom. I would love to just put it on a dress form and like display it. Like,
I never thought about that.
Would really be beautiful. And
yes.
But that being said, is I have 2 cats, 2 dogs. I'm not sure my dress would make it in my house.
Yeah, I don't that 20 years of it being preserved, that would all go
It
down the
would all
drain
go
really,
away.
really quick. Okay, so you said October, so now I have to know October when.
October 25th.
I thought you were getting ready to say the 27th. Ours is the 27th of October.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. We are the same person.
We really are. Oh my gosh. I was like, if she says the 27th, like that's just gonna be crazy. But I mean, we're close enough to it. So okay. Side note, really quick. What's your favorite color?
I recently discovered that my favorite color is camel,
Oh, interesting.
like
Okay.
light brown.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
used to be red, but now I've really changed to camel. Yes,
Camel. Okay.
I'm very Meghan Markle inspired these days.
Okay, I got you. I got you. Okay, mine is green, so we differ a little bit there. So,
Okay, okay, all
okay,
right.
I was just wondering. I was like,
It's
let's see
okay.
how far
We
we're
can
going with this.
maintain our individuality, Angel.
Yes, we can. We can still be friends. So, so I want to ask you, have you heard of the clutter bug philosophy?
Yes, I
Okay.
love Cass very
Okay.
much. She's wonderful. What I love about the clutter bug philosophy is that she really came up with a way that helps people understand that not everybody organizes the same way.
Yes.
Some people are visual organizers, some people are micro organizers, some people are macro organizers, some people are hidden organizers, and then some people are all combinations of different ones. And so it's just a wonderful way because I work with a lot of clients who have ADHD,
Okay.
and they've been told how to organize their entire life one way, but that doesn't work for their brain. And they think they're a failure because they can't organize the way that Pinterest tells them they need to organize. And what's genius about Cass's solution is that there are different ways to organize. It's okay to leave your clothes out on a hook if that's where you're going to look for them. If
Right.
you're a visual organizer, that's where your clothes are.
Right.
It's okay to throw all of your medications in one box and sort them in a macro way instead of a micro way, which would be one for headache, one for first aid, one for gastric distress, and that would be the micro way. And what's interesting, as someone who is a traditional organizer myself, I fluctuate between all four of those things.
Oh
I
wow. Okay.
I'm like in some ways I'm a visual organizer. I have a basket on my desk and I like to see some of my documents, but most of the time I'm a hidden organizer. I like to put my pens away. I like to do a micro sort of my medications, but I like to do a macro sort of my pantry. So it's just really shows that organizing can be for anyone and anyone's brain function.
So I just recently discovered it and I was just like, oh, this is awesome. So I had everyone like taking the quiz and I'm like, take the quiz. Let me see if I can guess what you are. But like you said, I really liked how he broke it down because you do think that there's just this one way to organize. And then when it's not being organized how you expect it to be, now you're upset and now you're mad. But that person doesn't think like that. And what's organized to me may be a complete mess to someone else and vice versa. And so I think it's just like learning those things and knowing those things that everyone has a different definition of how it looks and that no right or wrong way. It's just a personal preference of how to do it. So
Absolutely. There's no
yeah,
right or wrong way. That's
right.
that's the way. That's the learning from Cass. And I'm a cricket, by the way, when it comes to what Cass says. Um,
Okay.
but I'm definitely a hidden organizer. But that's the approach that I take with my clients as well. Like I don't do a one size fits all kind of organization system with everybody. I have steps that I personally take for me organize how I do things.
Right.
But for the clients, I talk to them and I say, how do you want your shoes displayed? Do you want them away in boxes or do you want them out on racks? What would be easiest for you? If you want them away in boxes, will you actually put them away in the boxes when
Right.
when you're done using your shoes.
Right.
So when you kick off your shoes, will you take that extra step to put them in the box? So it's about talking to your clients and finding out what they're willing to do in order to maintain the organizing solution.
Right. Because there's no point in getting organized if you're not going to be able to maintain it. So if you organize the way that works for you, well, if that way doesn't work for me, then I'm not going to maintain it. And now I've just wasted money getting this organizing system down that I'm never going to use. But if you actually take the time to learn what works for me, then I'm more likely to actually maintain the system and keep up with it and actually enjoy it.
Exactly. And that's why one of my systems is that I organize with people. I don't organize for people. I actually, I work with the homeowner and I say, okay, homeowner, this is how we organize the pantry. This is how we do shoes. And they work right alongside with me. I don't just come in and they sit and drink tea while I work.
Right.
You know, it's a collaborative affair, so that I'm teaching them how to maintain the system even when I'm at home drinking tea, done, and not thinking about the project anymore.
Right. And see, I love that, because when I think of a professional organizer, or even when I just think about organizing or helping other people organize, it's just always more of a okay, I'm going to do this. And then you just sit there now after I finish, look, this is where everything goes. This is where everything should be, but they're not learning like that. And so if they're right there with you and helping out, they're okay. And they're being able to put their touch on it and how they want it. So I love that it's a collaborative effort and it's not just you doing it by yourself and then be I'm done, I'm out of here. So
right, exactly.
Yeah. What are the 4 tidy tasks?
Okay. So everybody's going to be like, this lady is crazy.
Uh-oh, I'm excited.
After dinner, so I work all day. I work in the morning at my ambulance company. I said that I was an EMT. I am the administrator at the ambulance company.
Okay.
And then in the afternoon, I have clients for organizing. And then I come home and I make dinner. And then after I make dinner, I do my 4 daily tidy tasks, which are do the dishes. Dishes are key. If you are drowning, the best thing to do for your house, the only thing you have to do is do your dishes. The rest of the world could be falling apart, but your home will look better if you do your dishes. The second thing that I do is I scrub the sink. It's baking soda, a little sprinkle of baking soda, a little drizzle of dishwashing soap, scrub, 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 rinse, and your sink shines and smells fresh and clean. Now, I do that because, as I mentioned, I have cats, and if there's any food left in the sink, it automatically have cat butt in the sink.
Okay, we don't want cat butt in the sink.
We do not want cat butt in the sink.
No, we do not want that.
So I'm constantly cleaning to avoid pet situations.
Okay.
The next thing that I do is I wipe my countertops, and my countertops are easy to clean because I don't keep a lot of stuff on my countertops. Is a decluttering tip. If you keep your countertops nice and clean, they're easier to clean off. So that's a daily counter spray and a rag, and it's just getting all the little bits and bobs from cooking and everything like that. I also keep it clean because I have a teenager who likes to sit on the countertops.
Because you don't have chairs, right?
I offer chairs.
Yeah.
There are plenty of chairs. But they come downstairs and they sit on the countertops. So I like to keep the countertops clean.
Yes.
And then the last thing that I do, because I also mentioned that I have 2 teenagers and 2 dogs and 2 cats, I sweep and I vacuum almost every night. So I use my little Swiffer. So the goal here is that each thing takes 5 minutes. So all of these steps take a total of 20 minutes, and then bam, I'm on the couch drinking wine watching Big Bang Theory.
Love it.
And the reason that each of these things takes 5 minutes is because I do them every night.
Right.
I don't let the mess overwhelm me. I'm not scraping a mess off the countertops and taking and because I haven't cleaned them in a few days.
Right.
I'm not scrubbing the floors because the floors were just cleaned yesterday. I'm not doing 17,000 dishes because I just did the dishes this morning.
Right.
There's only 4 people in my house. I just need to put 4 dishes in the dishwasher and do a couple of pots and pans and I'm done. So each task takes 5 minutes, 20 minutes total, and then I light a candle and
You're
the
done.
house is reset to 0.
Okay. I love it. And I know when I was on your podcast, we actually talked about your habits a little bit, but I know that those were your 4 tidy tasks. But when we were talking about like routines and auditing your time, and you were saying how, if you go out to eat, then you don't have to scrub the sink or you don't have to clean the countertops because you didn't cook anything. So I didn't realize then that those were part of your 4 tidy tasks. So
Right. Yeah. Like I was saying on my podcast the other night, I went out to dinner and I saved all this time because I didn't have to scrub the countertops or, wipe the countertops or clean the sink or do the dishes because there were no dishes. So with any routine, you get to be flexible. The 3 months that I was recovering from knee surgery and I didn't do my tidy tasks because I wasn't standing up. But now I'm back to, wiping down the countertops, scrubbing the sink, and it just makes everything great. And what's wonderful about it is that I clean everything up and I don't leave a job for myself in the morning. My mornings are busy enough, getting everybody to the bus, getting myself to work in the morning, and I don't need to wake up to a cluttered and gross kitchen. That's the
right.
last thing I need. The first thing I need is coffee. So
Yes.
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 So what I really want to do is just go downstairs and get my coffee. I don't want to do a ton of dishes first thing in the morning.
I like your 4 tidy tasks, and it's just about, again, figuring out what works for you and how it can make your life a little bit easier. Like, yeah, you may not feel like doing those 4 things, but would you rather do them now and get it over with the rest of the evening to relax, and then in the morning just be able to come down and get your coffee? Or do you want to come down in the morning to get your coffee and be like, I have to clean the counter and I have to wash the dishes and I have to do all of the things?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
So how do people go about building good organizing habits?
A little bit every day, organizing from Marie Kondo.
Yes.
Marie Kondo is a famous organizer. She kind of revolutionized the idea of sparking joy, holding an item and does it spark joy? Do you keep it or not kind of thing. She has a lot of good ideas. She has a lot of wrong ideas. And one of them is the way that she goes about closets. She wants you to take all of your clothes when you address your clothes. She wants you to take all of your clothes out of the closets, out of the drawers, and pile them on your bed.
Oh, no.
And address every single piece of clothes all at once.
No.
Then what you have is a pile of anxiety.
Right. That's going to sit there for a while because after you pull it all out, you're going to look at it and be like, I don't feel like doing anything with this right now. So it's just going to sit here.
No one that I know, not one client that I've ever worked with would be able to handle a pile of clothes.
No.
And her point is that you're supposed to be confronted with the mass of clothes that you actually own. But I could not possibly get any client of mine to do that. And what would happen is that pile would transfer from the bed to the floor.
Right.
So fast. And then you have a pile of clothes on the floor that you're not dealing with and you're walking around it for days on end. It's just a mess. So my suggestion is do a little a day. You can't do this tidy festival that she suggests. Do a drawer. If you're a busy person with a full-time job and children, that's all you have time for anyway. Pull the stuff out, clean the drawer, look at what you want to keep, fold everything up, donate the rest. That's it. And then if you have time, do another drawer. If you don't have time, that's okay. Go watch Big Bang Theory. It is totally doable to get your house in order in a very reasonable amount of time by doing it drawer by drawer and by doing it in like 10-minute increments.
I like that. So just little by little and what you have capacity for in that time
Yeah,
frame.
don't overwhelm yourself. This should be fun. Like I said, the point of this is to find the good stuff. Like if you're doing that drawer and you find this shirt that you've been looking for and you're like, "Oh my God, that's my concert shirt from, like when I went to see the Bare Naked Ladies and I love them." And that's a reason to celebrate. Like
Right.
you just found the good stuff.
Right.
So don't overwhelm yourself.
Okay. I like that. Don't overwhelm yourself. I love it. So, Maria, before we go, will you tell my audience about your organizing podcast that you have?
Yes, I would love to invite all of your listeners to come over and listen to mine as well. It's called Bliss This House, Home Organization with Maria Grove. I'm on Spotify. And I'm hopefully getting on more platforms soon, but right now I'm just on Spotify. It's a great podcast. I love talking about home organization. I do great guests, and then you also get me as a professional home organizer giving you tips and tricks and inspiration. It's just really wonderful. It's a passion project of mine.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you. And is there anything else that you would like to share? Any other advice, tips, or anything else you have for us?
I would just remind people that it doesn't need to be overwhelming. If you're starting a project, do a little bit at a time. There are lots of podcasts out there that are specifically 10-minute long podcasts or even 30-minute podcasts if you want to get crazy. Like this lovely podcast that we're on now is about 30 minutes.
Yes.
Put on a podcast or an audiobook or some music and time yourself. Set a timer for 10 minutes, 30 minutes if you're feeling really ambitious, and then tackle a small project. Don't get overwhelmed. Don't get decision fatigue. Don't get frustrated. Just start where you feel comfortable. Start with the thing that's bothering you the most. So if you can't open that junk drawer every time you go to put the scissors away, start there. Give it a try to see if you can empty it out, clean the space, and make it a little bit more manageable. And then the other thing that I'll say is everything should have a place in your home, and that place should be intuitively where you look for it. So if you have something that you have no idea where it belongs, think about where you'd look for it first. So if you get a pair of new scissors at the store because your old ones broke and you don't know where to put them, think about where you'd look for them first. Is it in a drawer? Is it on the counter? Don't leave scissors on the counter if you have children.
No.
Just think about where you intuitively would look for it. Is it with your mail? If you're using scissors to open your mail, so just there's no right place for something. It's where you would look for it.
Okay. Again, doing what works best for you and your environment that you're in. So
Absolutely.
I love it. Thank you so much. And will you please tell everyone where they can find you at?
So I hang out mostly on Instagram, which is at @BlissThisHouse_CT. The CT is for Connecticut, which is where I'm located. I also am on the interwebs at www.blissthishouseblogs.com. Those are the two places you can find me. If you're interested in working with me, I do offer virtual consultations. So I'd love to work with you and I'd love to talk to you. So send me a DM on Instagram and let's chat.
All right, awesome. And I will link all of that information in the show notes as well. Maria, thank you so much. I have just enjoyed talking to you these past couple of days, doing the interview for your podcast, and now today. I know this will not be the last time that. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. Please share the episode with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, and review. 5-star ratings and reviews helps the Modco podcast get on other shows' recommendation lists and helps new listeners to find me. Your 5-star review may be read on an episode. Also, if you would like to support this podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the show notes. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening. Please make sure to follow and rate the podcast whenever you listen.